Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Latest, your number one source for news, updates, rumors, opinions, and you guessed it, the latest and the greatest regarding the Atlanta Hawks. I'm your host, Zach Langley, aka Langley ATL, and today we've got a full slate of updates on Eurobasket 2025, along with a closer look at one of the Hawks' more intriguing young prospects, who should be suiting up right now in Eurobasket, but there were some obligations that required him to not. But nonetheless, he has an exciting future in Atlanta, and I can't wait to break it all down. So from Kristaps Porzingis and Latvia securing their spot in the final phase after a very impressive performance, to Vit Krejci's continued struggles. It's been pretty rough since the group stage began with the Czech Republic, but nonetheless, Vit is still Vit. He's going to be fine. Zach Risacher's steady impact for France. He's truly been dominating and leading France to a very good record in this tournament, and then a deep dive into Nikola Durisic's future in Atlanta, potentially moving forward. So we're going to cover it all here, and without further ado, let's waste no time and go ahead and jump into it. This is the 83rd episode of Hawks Latest, presented by the great people at FanArch. So let's go ahead and get started. Latvia entered their matchup against Portugal under real pressure. They had struggled through their first three games. It was kind of inconsistent play, not only from Porzingis, but from the rest of the crew. And the fans inside the arena, which were over 11,000 strong, were desperate for a breakthrough. Latvia delivered exactly that with a decisive 78-62 win over Portugal. This victory wasn't just about reaching 2-2 in group play. It was about momentum, confidence, and proving that they could pull things together before the most crucial games begin very soon. We've got that tournament coming up. We've got about 2 games left for each player, obviously starting today, and then over the next few days, it's going to be wrapping up the group stage. But then that means the round of 16 is starting. And then from there, it's single elimination. So it's going to be super intense. The intensity is really ramping up, you see, in these group stage games as, these are tiebreaker. These are games that determine tiebreakers. And, of course, yesterday the story was Atlanta's 7'2" big man Kristaps Porzingis, who they acquired from Boston earlier this summer. The former Celtics big man had, previously missed his first 14 three-point shots in the group stage. He was 0 for 14. He's actually 0 for 12 entering yesterday's game, but he missed his first 2 shots of the game, and everyone was thinking that this slump was going to continue. But when that first three-pointer fell, his reaction said it all. Porzingis laughed and gestured to the crowd. There's really nothing else you can do. Vit Krejci actually did something in like 2 games ago that, kind of had the same reaction because, he's also been at a shooting slump. But that slump continued. We're going to talk about that in a minute. He let the relief pour out. That shot broke the slump. That was really bad, and it was growing a lot of concern among Hawks fans that KP had just lost his shot because, as we all know, he struggled mightily in last postseason with the Boston Celtics, especially from deep. But this is not something that's going to continue to carry over. KP is KP. He's an amazing three-point shooter, and he's going to be in Atlanta as well. But ever since there, Latvia's offense exploded as soon as KP hit that first three, because when you have a 7'2" big man who is absolutely elite from beyond the arc, you know how much that opens the offense. That is just nothing that we've seen in the Atlanta Hawks era. In the Trae Young era of his tenure with the Atlanta Hawks. And so it's going to open up the offense, and it's going to make this team truly elite. But right now he's doing it for Latvia, and he led them to that win yesterday. The team dominated the second quarter, 27-7. It was all fueled by the all-around brilliance of Kristaps Porzingis, the NBA champion. He finished with 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists, and a block in just 26 minutes, while Latvia outscored Portugal by 25 points with him on the floor. He actually led the team with that plus 25, plus minus. So definitely KP's best game, I would say, of all of Eurobasket. Including the preliminary exhibition games. This one had a lot at stake. Pushed Latvia to 2-2, and it pushed Portugal to 1-3, giving them the clear advantage in their group. This performance really may be remembered as a turning point in Eurobasket 2025. Really, as every game matters at this point. Even when the shots weren't falling earlier in the tournament, Porzingis ended up controlling games with his presence and defense. That on-ball gravity is really huge in a overseas setting like this. But now with that outside shot falling, he was 5 of 12 from beyond the arc. He actually hit all 5 of his 3-pointers in the first half. So, just an all-around, just a very effective game. He showcased it all. Latvia has unlocked a new level of dominance that is going to maybe propel them to a Eurobasket championship. We're going to be keeping track of all of that on this channel over the next week, and it's going to be super fun to cover. And thanks to Serbia's win over the Czech Republic later in the day, which unfortunately came at the expense of Vit Krejci, Latvia officially clinched that spot in the final phase, which is that 16-team knockout tournament. So we will be seeing KP for sure get some action there. So it's safe to say the arena's only going to get louder from here. But unfortunately, on the other end of the spectrum, things are not looking good for Atlanta's own Vit Krejci and the Czech Republic. They probably will not be heading to that final stage. Their matchup against Serbia, it was lopsided from the opening tip. For sure. Serbia led wire to wire, and the most remarkable part is that Nikola Jokic barely played, and they still pretty much dominated, unfortunately. The former finals MVP and three-time MVP logged under 20 minutes. He actually took fewer than 10 shots, but Serbia still cruised to victory. They also are without former Atlanta Hawk Bogdan Bogdanovic. I have his signed jersey over there. It's just not looking good for the Czech Republic. That roster was doomed from the start, especially with Thomas Satoransky out. The only other NBA talent that was on that roster, other than obviously Vit Krejci, who has been struggling. As for Krejci, the tournament struggles seriously continued. In this game, he finished with 7.6 rebounds and just shot 27% from the floor and 14% from three across 23 minutes. Just not very effective offensively. He's in such a different role right now. You can't really blame him too much for struggling. This is very a unique situation for Vit himself. So through the tournament, Vit's averages sit at 7 points per game on 26% shooting from the field and 13% from deep. Seriously not good. You hate to see it, man. Vit is a very easy guy to root for. The Czech Republic as a whole really struggled. They shot 32% from the floor and 27% from three, all in that game while committing 23 fouls. Just very undisciplined of a game. Like I said, they're feeling the absence of veteran Thomas Satoransky, former NBA vet who's experience have always been a pivotal part of the Czech Republic in international play. So they've yet to secure a single win in group play. I'll have to check the facts on this, but I don't even think they've recorded a single win, including all of the exhibition games before. So it just hasn't been a good tournament for them. But like I said before this even got started, when I was just previewing the matchups and what to expect from certain Hawks, the Czech Republic had a huge disadvantage just in general. They have some NBA talent, but right now it's literally just Vit Krejci. He's the number one option. And, while their advancement looks a little grim for Hawks fans, there's little cause for alarm. Usually when a player like this, who is important to the rotation, is struggling, a lot of fans will immediately pivot to, did he peak already? Is this someone who's going to fall off? Is this someone who's not going to reach his full potential? And that's just not the case here for Vit. He is playing far outside of his normal NBA role. Normally he's deep in the rotation, but he's just giving good rotation spot minutes. In this, he's operating as the Czech Republic's number one option, playing most minutes per night and having the heaviest offensive workload. So it's instead of being that steady depth piece that he is for the Atlanta Hawks, plays good defense, is a solid facilitator in that second unit. He's been asked to carry more responsibility on a depleted Czech roster. Back in Atlanta as part of that second unit, his skill set will thrive. It's going to be much better suited to succeed. So I'm excited for Vit going into next year. He had the best season of his career last year. He shot 43% from deep, so I expect him to continue to, get better every NBA season. But right now, it's valuable experience for him. That's really all it is. It's valuable experience. I think, honestly, this will make him a better player. Everyone's got to struggle to eventually be their best version of themselves. So turning to France, and I'm excited to talk about this because Zach Langley in France have been the bright spot of Eurobasket. Porzingis has been great too, but Zach Langley has been the most consistent part of Atlanta's the Hawks fans watching Eurobasket. So the story is a bit different. They suffered their first loss actually of the tournament against Deni Avdija and Israel. That was who they played yesterday. But Zach Langley, he showed once again why Atlanta invested last year's number one overall pick into him. Risacher had another very, very good performance. He scored 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. This is honestly probably his most complete game of the tournament. He also had 2 blocks, very good on the defensive end. He looks very quick in transition, also getting back on defense after a missed shot. It's all very good. He's displaying all the skill sets Hawks fans want to see. He had 24 minutes of action. He put up those very good numbers. He's continuing to display his growing confidence as a shooter, and that quick release has been very effective in Eurobasket. And if he can really emphasized that in training camp, and then going into the season with the Hawks, the offense is just going to continue to open. He's making the right reads defensively and offensively, really. I mean, the 4 assists is that's very good. I mean, he's looking like someone who can really, facilitate off of a drive, which is very good, and that opens up a whole lot. His consistency has been probably the brightest spot of the tournament for France, and really for Hawks fans watching from afar. I mean, this is something that, ever since the first half of his rookie season, he's been very efficient. I mean, that level of efficiency in his rookie season, in a rookie season in general, is very rare. But Zach Langley did it. I mean, after January, he shot over 40% from deep. One of the best in the NBA. And he's continued to show that consistency in Eurobasket, so that certainly wasn't a fluke. And I expect his efficiency to continue to rise next season for the Atlanta Hawks, especially playing in with a new look roster. France looked strong early in this game. I mean, it looked like they were going to win. I mean, they held the lead for much of the first half, and they were taking care of the basketball. They just had 5 turnovers. They moved the ball well. They tallied 12 assists by halftime, so I mean, certainly very effective on the offensive end. But in the second half, things really unraveled for them and eventually end up, resulting in them taking their very first loss of the tournament. They, heading into that matchup, they're 7-0, including the exhibition games and then group play. So, I mean, they've been super dominant, but Israel just outmatched them. I mean, they dominated the paint. They scored 40 inside points while France's shooting just really collapsed. I mean, they finished at 25% from deep and 37% from the field overall. Kind of shades of the Atlanta Hawks last year. That inconsistency cost them, as it usually does. And France now sits behind Israel in the Group D standing. So next up, they're going to face Poland, an undefeated squad for known efficient three-point shooting. And tip-off is set for 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for Hawks fans, all eyes should remain on Risacher. I mean, he's suiting up again today, like I said, at 2:30. So be sure to watch that. I'll provide the links on my X account. But he has been the France standout performer, and his growth on both ends of the floor suggests that Atlanta may have landed a franchise cornerstone. I'm thinking a solid 17 points per game for Zachary Risacher next season. And that would be an amazing outcome in year 2, especially with this newly revamped roster, and people don't understand exactly what his offensive role is going to be going into next season, but I think he can give us a solid 17 points per game if he continues his efficiency and increases his shot volume. I don't see why it couldn't happen. So now we're going to pivot a little bit from Eurobasket, but also kind of relate it to Eurobasket, and we're going to talk about a player who isn't on the stage right now, but is on the Atlanta Hawks roster. He deserves our attention, Nikola Durisic. So for some context, he is Serbian. He was supposed to be on Serbia's roster, and honestly, they're probably the number 1 contenders for that Eurobasket title. So it would have been valuable minutes for him. He was on that practice roster, and so it looked like he was going to be a part of the main roster. But when it was announced, he was not a part of it. So it's kind of disappointing for Hawks fans who, they also were expecting Eli Njai to play. So he ended up not playing because he actually got hurt. He would have been on Spain's final roster, but him and Durisic ended up not playing, which resulted in them only having 3 players participating in Eurobasket, which is still a lot more than several other NBA teams. But just a year ago, Durisic was getting a lot of hype as that second round pick for Atlanta, and he was actually labeled one of the most intriguing prospects of his generation, which is a bit of a exaggeration. But I mean, this was a real scouting report that was listed for him. He's a 6'8" combo guard forward. I mean, he's very positionless. He's very creative with the ball. He's athletic. He's got good playmaking instincts, and he's thrived with Serbia in the past. So I'm surprised that he was left off that roster. I mean, he thrived next to Nikola Topic, who's currently on the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's an NBA champion without ever playing a minute in the regular season. I think that's pretty cool. If you look at his basketball reference page, it just says 2025 NBA champion, and there's no stats for his rookie season. It's pretty funny. He often operated as that second creator alongside Topic. Durisic did. So last summer, well, this past summer, this summer that is going on, before the NBA season, he signed that 3-year, $6 million contract, which is kind of the reported numbers of the deal. It's very similar to what we saw the former management staff lock up second round pick Mo Gay, who they drafted a few years ago. It's a very similar deal to that, and it kind of shows another example of the Hawks betting on upside in the second round. And it's worked out for them so far. Gay was pretty good in rotation minutes last year. He's got a lot of work offensively, but he was a very good defensive player. And I mean, he's a very raw prospect who's only continued to grow. And I think we can see a similar situation here with Nikola Durisic. So why isn't he getting any more attention? The answer is simply his shooting. In the minutes he's played with College Park, he's certainly struggled from shooting, and really at every level he's played, he struggled to find any sort of consistency, despite his absolute craft as a driver and a passer. I mean, because he really excels in that, but shooting has got to be consistent, especially on an Atlanta Hawks team, led by two guards who aren't always the most efficient. With Serbia, he shot 30% from deep across 69 games. Not very good. And last year with Atlanta's G League affiliate, the College Park Skyhawks, he dropped to just 18% on nearly four attempts per game. So solid volume. But there's room to grow there. I mean, he's generating such good looks. He's getting himself open and also getting teammates open. So, I mean, in today's NBA, that is a weakness that you certainly cannot have, especially, like I said, in Atlanta situation. So without a reliable perimeter shot, the path to rotation minutes is very uncertain, but I believe in him. I think he's going to be great. The upside is still there. I mean, he's very good in transition. He's got strong instincts in the pick and roll. He can really learn from Trae Young and Dyson Daniels, Vit Krejci, and the rest of the crew. He's already a plus athlete, too. I mean, that's not something everyone can say. With the Hawks, he's going to have a chance to learn directly from some of these guys, like I just said, and especially, because he's a very versatile player. He's a guard, he's a wing. He can honestly play some forward. He's got some good size. Learning from guys like Johnson and Risacher. I mean, two wings have already expanded their game significantly over the past year. He can continue to stay in that system. I think he's in a really good spot, and potentially in a year or two might find himself in the back end of the rotation. I could see it. I mean, if he can put together, significant hours to develop even like a league average jumper, honestly, even a little below league average. Because you can be an effective player in the NBA without shooting well. It's just in Atlanta's direct situation, it's not necessarily something they want. But Atlanta may have secured a steal with him, and I don't think anyone should forget about him. I mean, the talent is there. It's simply about it's simply a matter of turning potential into production. We're going to be keeping close track of him. In College Park this year, he did sign a standard deal with the Hawks, but that doesn't mean he can't be sent down to College Park, regularly. He's going to be on the end of Atlanta's bench for most of the season, but he might get some action, with the ball club that, he's grown with a lot. He also didn't get a lot of action last season just because he was dealing with an injury, and it was his rookie season. So that's always crucial for growth. So we're going to be keeping close track of Durisic's progress, so be sure to be tuned in for that. So to wrap things up, Kristaps Porzingis and Latvia are surging at the right time. That three-point shot is back, and it looks awesome. I actually just wrote an article about it. It came out earlier this morning, so be sure to go give that a read because it'll very in detail, and y'all will enjoy it. Vit Krejci continues to grind through a tough stretch with the Czech Republic, but we still believe in him as a player. His services are very valued in Atlanta. Zach Langley keeps showing why he's the Hawks' most exciting young piece. He's got a very bright future, and he's going to take a leap as early as next season. And Nikola Durisic remains a fascinating long-term project who I can't wait to see play once again. So that's going to be all for today's episode of Hawks Latest. If you enjoyed the breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single update here on the channel. We're going to be pumping out videos every single day, keeping you guys informed on the latest and the greatest regarding the Atlanta Hawks. But once again, thank you guys for watching. I'm Zach Langley, a.k.a. Langley ATL, and I'll see you guys next time.